picture from the industry at the moment is that there's a definite move from DB to DC in a lot of employers, and as they move from DB to DC, there's been a sort of linked probably reduction in the level of contribution that is being made. So yes, the average DB contribution is higher than the DC. I think for auto enrolment, the figures are something like 1% and 1%, aren't they, which are far too low. I think it was your last conference, one of your speakers said, 1% plus 1% doesn't mean a secure income for life, it means a good lunch or something, didn't they? And, and Steve Webb is on record as saying 8% is not enough.
The amount of contributions going in as a default is not enough, and it's certainly, if people contribute at those levels, then when we come towards a population that retires with just DC savings, it's going to become apparent that just isn't enough. At the moment, we've still got significant people retiring where they've still got that DB buffer, so where they do have DC savings, it's kind of supplemented by a secure DB pension. Well, secure, sometimes it's not secure with companies going bust, but so I think that there is an interesting debate to be had, but I think in this country, I think there's a general sort of policy that the government takes about people taking responsibility for themselves and making decisions for themselves, and I think sort of auto-enrolment strikes that balance between nudging people into pensions and then taking responsibility for their decisions, but that needs to be accompanied by increasing amounts of financial guidance and education, I think, to enable people to be able to make those decisions.
Well, certainly the minimum standard is creeping up, isn't it, over time to a minimum of sort of 8% of joint contributions. I think I would like to see that journey continuing. Yeah. And extending, and on an annual basis or a biannual basis by percentage point or 2 percentage points till it gets to...
It's the affordability though, isn't it? That's the thing, because you make it compulsory, so you just don't give people the choice, and that's just the way it is. Or if we stick to the current regime, and of course, because there's a lot of debate that actually even getting up to the 8%, there's this whole debate going on at the moment, which is, will we see a lot more opt-outs because people will just go, well, hold on, it is getting a bit more meaningful now. I am kind of noticing it a bit more, and because I've got the bills to pay and all the rest of it. Actually, maybe I can't. So I think that is going to be a kind of an interesting dynamic about and we see it all the time. When we're running education programs, the one thing we see all the time is we can talk about the benefits, whether that be the pension or any other types of saving benefits. But one of the things that we always have to be very, very aware of is affordability.
When the lifetime ISA does become on the market, how that's going to impact things, because that's a sort of almost, from looking at it from a pensions savings perspective, it's almost a direct competitor to pension saving.
Absolutely, people will come out of the pension to
I
go
think it will be a popular product
ISA.
because that is the priority for people in that age group, and I don't see why it's not going to be a popular product. Whether it means people will opt out of pension saving because they can't afford to save into both, probably will.
I think we really underestimate that for so long, because of where society was, we just had this concept of retirement and what happens all the way over here, which is a long, difficult story to pitch to people very early on in their careers. I think now it's not that picture. For many people, there are these stages of saving that we have to support people through, that you go through your life where, and some of those stages might be, education, that people who want to re-educate themselves midway through their life and want to support themselves through further education and higher education and postgraduate education, or maybe have a totally different career because they know they've still got another 25 years of work in and they want to do something different with their life now. And I think people's, options are much more variable. The social generation way of looking at the workforce means that people are much more diverse in terms of their needs, and it is that one size doesn't fit all anymore.